Alrighty folks, and welcome to, what are we on now? Part 6. Look at that. I thought this was going to be 2-part only. What do I know? So on this one I've just got some screen pics that I took as I was working kind of, along the way in between videos at some point, and then just as I had said in my previous video, some of the stuff just didn't require full-on videos or anything like that. So I just thought there's a couple of more behind the scenes stuff here I thought I would share with you. Some stuff that you will never see, and some rather interesting and funny moments. So let's get right into it. So here is the first model, or I guess I should say remodel, that I actually managed to get in game. It was just a redo of the Tardis exterior, making it a little bit more in line with the 9th and 10th Doctor's version. I actually, got the blueprints and the measurements and followed that as best as I could. So I'm pretty sure it was to spec, size-wise, at least in game world. Definitely, as I said, it was my first real kind of adventure into modeling. So it was that's where it kind of all began, in a sense. My wonky door there. And then we get into the Key to Time console, the 4th Doctor's console. And so this was where I was starting. Look at how beautiful that time rotor could have been if the game engine didn't suck with transparencies, as you'll see here. You can see it, and now you can't. Oy, it could have been so nice looking. But as you can see, this is kind of where it was starting off. I had started building it in the galley. Or not the galley, the wardrobe. This one was the wardrobe. So this was the very first baby steps, getting all the panel details started, not really knowing what I was going to do with the time rotor. And there I had figured out how to add glow without using a glow map. You'll see a picture coming up real soon of Mega Glow. But this is all kind of self-explanatory. There it is, Mega Glow. So I obviously had to tone that down, and then eventually I figured out how to use glow maps and all that jazz. So it's just slowly compiling the detail on there, sort of one panel and one piece at a time, chipping away at it in my rather abundant amount of free time at that point. At this point I needed to really balance detail and playability. So you'll see a lot of the detail on it is very muted, because I especially with the rig I was using at the time, I needed to keep it toned down so it wouldn't completely bog down the system and have a frame rate of about 2. There you can see some of the walls coming in. People had asked, oh, you're doing the console. Originally I was just going to stick it in the upcoming, at that point, 5 Doctors console room, but then I decided, well, it is going to look a little bit out of place, so I thought I would continue on doing the room itself. Still being built in the wardrobe, as you can see. So I've got the door wall there and the 2 back walls, and so there's the scanner and the door to the interior, and there's the 4th wall, as you can see, the where the cameras on the show would have sat. So there was never any detailing as in terms of those walls, so it was all kind of an experiment. So here I had just replicated the other 2 walls, and momentarily you'll see that I changed them up so I can add in the wardrobe section, because there was a scene in one of the, I think, the androids of something, one of the Key to Time episodes, where you see an interior shot looking out of a wardrobe, and the Doctor's taking out, I think, a fishing rod or something like that. So that's where I did my best to stick the wardrobe in that console room. And there she is. I think she's in her own standalone cell now. Yeah. So she's actually in a proper cell there. So her own standalone room. There's the back entrance there. Now those originally, the roundels in there, I had just had a flat plate, and then I had it inside out model wise, and then when you put a light behind it in the GEC, it gave that awesome glow effect just using the in-game engine. The problem was it had a horrible time frame rate wise. It took a lot of calculations, I guess, to display that, so it ended up getting axed. And here we have the key to the time, actual cube. I had found all the dimensions for all the pieces and made all the pieces, and then that's what it looked like. So it never went anywhere. Added in Mr. Baker's scarf there, and some more detail added to the back room. The canine box covered up some of the open roundels there, so the frame rate wasn't so bad. And here's what happens when you mess up your collision meshes. Your doors fall apart. And here we have the corridors themselves. You'll see a couple of little model issues there. The little black triangle it was basically that face was inside out. But slowly putting it all together and working on getting rid of those weird artifacts that are left behind when Blender wants to smooth something out. And here's some of the clipping issues with the rooms and the doors that I had made. And now we're getting into redesigning of the room, so adding some detail into the wardrobe here. I had started out by just adding those upper panels. I honestly don't remember if those stayed. See there, I got rid of them. Maybe they made a comeback. I can't remember. How sad is that? Work that I had done, I don't remember it. The mirror that I had remade to style in, or fit in, I guess, with the new wall style. And there's the medbay walls. There's the, yes, so those panels made a comeback there with a little bit of lighting behind them. And some squished in panels there as opposed to the thicker ones for the back walls. Here we have the revamping of the galley. So this is where I had added in the sort of original Hartnell version of the roundel walls. Although those textures ended up getting replaced by just simple flat ones because I think it was really starting to bog down the system as well, frame rate wise. And just sort of added in the floor plates there to coincide with the original Tardis console room. View from the door. And now we've got, so there's the case or the cover for the Eye of Harmony, working on the back walls there. So there's the close-up of the roundels from the more current version. Who knows what we're going to get next with the new showrunner, but we shall see. Redone the archways there with the ceramic tiling. That is a screen grab that I used to make the original loading screen icon. There is my messed up consoles. All the readouts were stuck in the hallway and some doors. That was funny. And there's a picture. I think Spyduck did these hallways, but there was a little bit of a texture glitch, so took a picture. These were the gift boxes. This was for the special Christmas edition opening of the mod. So these were just some presents that I made. Obviously this one was to fit the TARDIS inside. And then a couple other little present boxes that were scattered around that little battlefield there. And the note. All of those gifts, going back here, custom textures for the wrapping on them. I had seen ideas for this online where, they've got cutouts of like TARDISes and sonic screwdrivers that are sort of turned into snowflakes, so I just made my own and then plastered them all over the gift wrapping textures. And there's a work in progress for the Chronodyne generator. So that was the picture of the original Fragmine light, the orange one there that I slightly retextured and nicked to make the green ones. Here's the EMP generator. This one obviously modeled off the one in the show. I don't remember which episode it was, nor the person's name that made them. But I remember sticking some sort of personalized stuff in the textures for this one. Just saying, this is mine, don't touch, and stuff like that. And there's the Dalekanium bomb. Just some close-ups of it. Nothing too special, nothing to write home about here. Most of this you saw in the video for it anyway. And moving back into the glitched out console, so I almost fixed it there, but this was right before I had to do the full reinstall. And the atomic shredder, you've seen that before. And here was a test of the terminals. This was to see if we could actually edit the in-game model, which obviously you could. And then added it in the background here, but as I had said before, this never developed into anything. And here's just some concept art for the gallery, the art gallery here, how it was all going to fit together. So the first one was my design, second one was a slight change from the Meggie there. And there's the room itself. I think I started with just the galley room and just started remodeling it there, so that's why you could see some of the walls from the galley in that first picture there. And it was opening up and adding the entrance to it, showing off some of the detail texture on the wall there, so you know, flat white but looks like painted brick. There's that thing, which, moving on, I had just replaced the sonic screwdriver model, I think, for testing purposes, so it would actually do something, and that way I could test how you would hold it. So yes, moving on from this thing. No, we're not. We're still looking at it. Look at the glow effects. Look at that. Best part of it. Now throw it away. Throw it away. Thank you. And starting on the ancillary power room there. This was obviously before I'd finished the model for the steam engines, and there they are, along with the almost complete back wall. So there you go. And a Dalek bomb. I don't remember why that was sitting there. Close-ups of the panel as I was working on them. There's the start of the main control panel, obviously without the display screen there. There's the initial opening for the back entrance there, and some obvious clipping issues there with the different hallway corridor kit pieces here. So here's the sort of, there I was building in Blender there, the different back entrance to see if I could make it all coincide with, we had the new coral corridors as well, so had to make it fit with all the new styles there. There's the windy wibbly tunnel from the art gallery to the power room there, just showing us some of the detail that I had added in after taking that original video of it just being plain. There's the start of the Sirius bridge, so it was sort of a just a test look. I just stuck it in that cell just to see size comparisons there. And the opening to space, obviously, no windows, no ceiling. There it is, almost complete, and then a really bad picture of when the stars and the galaxies and the sun were added in. And here is the Pandorca again. This was made by somebody else. I just added, as you'll see, the glow map and the normal map there. Definitely adds a nice bit of difference detail-wise. There is the original control console for the Eye of Harmony. Obviously, this got changed drastically, as you, well, there you can see now, because it just didn't fit. So I was going with originally a, for whatever reason, a sort of TV movie style there, which obviously didn't fit with the rest of the room. But it was mainly because that was the one time you actually see the Eye of Harmony, including that that sort of Time Lordy texture on the dome itself. So that's why I originally went with it. But it didn't fit in with the rest of the room at all, so it ended up getting changed to this version. Adding in the lamp. I always liked the way the lamp turned out. That was a nice model. And that's what happens. Let me get a zoom in on this one here. This is what happens when you forget to change the weights for your collision meshes in Nifscope, because Blender doesn't do that. So basically, instead of the room being static and not moving, being sort of solid in the game world, it thinks it's an object and it just starts falling. So that was a picture Demegi took of the entire room just falling away from the rest of the Tardis. And there was a little clipping issue I noticed with the new coral corridors. So when you change from one style to another style, the center of those lifts never changed. They stayed the same. Obviously, that was rectified before the build got released. And there's Mr. Sparky there. That's just a quick retexture that I did for him there. And here we go into the Dalek stuff. So there's that console that I had worked on. Here's some, what do you call it?